Hello and welcome to another video. As usual, my name is Jeffrey and you're welcome to Inquisitive Universe. So today I want to talk about like a very serious topic that I don't think lots of people have paid attention to. Yes, actually this one is very important. The title of this one is, smartphone security and the elderly. Should I say the elderly and smartphone security? I'm not very sure. I'm just making these videos as they pop up, right? So let me tell you, it's very simple but very, very insightful story that actually prompted this video. So a few months back, one day I was at work and my mom called. So I picked up the phone and I was like, "Oh, Mom, why are you calling? What happened?" And she's like, "I can't get into my WhatsApp." And I'm like, "Well, can't it wait?" Because it has happened before when she doesn't have data or she hasn't updated her WhatsApp and then she gets locked out. And I'm like, in my mind I thought that's probably one of those things, so it never just, I thought it was a very trivial issue. And she was like, this one is new. And I'm like, new? And she's like, yes, this one is new. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you have data? She's like, yes. I'm like, are you very sure you have data? She's like, yes, I'm absolutely sure I have data. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, have you updated your WhatsApp? And she's like, yes, I have. But I didn't believe her. Don't tell her I said that. So I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna stop by after work and I'll check out whatever the problem was. And she was like, okay. So I got back, I got to her place, I got home and I was like, where's the phone? And she's like, here it is. So I opened the phone, I got in. And what I saw, I was like, why didn't you tell me? And she was like, this is what I was trying to tell you. And I'm like, did someone get you to, you know what, forget about it. I just went straight to her messages and my worst fears were confirmed. There was an OTP message from WhatsApp. And I'm like, Ma, did you read out a set of numbers for a text message to anybody? And she was like, And I'm like, there is no time to think about it. She was like, yes, there was a nice lady that called me and that she said that she was trying to register something and she accidentally misplaced one number which turned out to be my number, and that she needed to get money, she needed to register for something, her child was sick, blah blah blah. So I called the number on my phone and helped her. And I was like, that's like the oldest trick in the book. So basically they were fishing for numbers and my mom's number showed up and they called her and she gave them the OTP to her WhatsApp. They hacked her. They did not only hack her alone, they even added an email and then they locked us out of the account. We couldn't get in. And it took 2 hours of, it wasn't even anything that's ever occurred to me. It took us, or rather it took me, because I was the one doing everything. It took me about 2 hours or so to actually like find the solution, like lock everyone out of the WhatsApp, and then we had to wait 1 week to log in again and get a new OTP. And that was an issue that we could resolve. So had it been that I had taken out the time to teach my mom about smartphone security and the importance of OTPs, this would have never happened, but I never paid any attention to it. And this is incumbent on me because I was the one who bought her the phone. I should be the one telling her about all these things because our parents live in a different plane from us. So that's what this video is all about, which is very, very important. Have you, because some of us have parents in their late 50s, 60s, even 70s, right, that they have smartphones, right? Even if they're entry-level phones, a smartphone is a smartphone. And we some of us were the ones who actively got these phones for them, or some of them got these phones for themselves. How many of us have actually taken out the time to try to teach them smartphone security? Because that evening I had to do a crash course, a very quick crash course on smartphone security, which I should have done in the first place, not think I should have done it in the first place. And I felt really bad for not having done it. And it's why I am making this video right now, because my subscriber count is starting to climb a bit, so the message is going to get to more and more people. Have you taught the elderly people in your life? They don't have to be biological, but there are people who are in your life that are very important to you, that are elderly. Have you tried to teach them smartphone security? Right now, if you haven't, one of the very first things that you have to teach them is OTP security. OTP simply means a one-time password. And what that means right? Why they should never ever give an OTP out to anyone for no reason whatsoever, even if they call and say that their sister was dying of cancer in the next second, that for no reason whatsoever that they should give their OTPs to strangers. Never. As soon as they check a text message, and they see O, T, and P on it, that message is for their eyes only. It's confidential. That's the first thing you want to teach them. Secondly, you want to teach them about, if they use bank apps, for example, or any other sensitive app, that they should have an app lock. Thankfully, you don't need an extra app for that nowadays. Many phones come with an inbuilt app lock software for you to be able to lock it, right? That would only respond to either a pattern or a fingerprint sensor. You have to make sure that their bank apps are locked, and you have to also teach them to not give their phones willy-nilly to strangers, no matter what like the sub story may be. Very, very, very important, right? There are other stuff that could happen, but I think basically these are like the most fundamental ones that are worst case scenarios, or whatever it was. Now, having like locked everyone out, and then a week later, even within the week before we opened my mom's WhatsApp, like there was so much damage control that we had to do, because people were calling in and saying, hello, hi, what happened? You asked for 20 something thousand naira. I hope there was no problem, blah 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 blah. And like, no, you had to like, no, my WhatsApp was hacked, and like start shooting calls all around. So it's very, very important. No, do not put it off 1 second. Do not put it off for another week. Do not put it off for another day. It's very, very important. Do it now. If you can pick up your phone right after this video, and then call the elderly people that you know that are very close to you, and ask them, do you know what an OTP is? Do you have passwords on your phone? Are your phones locked, right? Are your bank apps safe? Yeah, very careful with these things. So teach them, right? I think I was on Twitter, and I read about how someone's gratuity was gone. An elderly person's gratuity was gone because he fell for a phishing message about having about River State doing a gratuity something, and then they got all of that gone. And I think that's also another thing you should teach them as well. It almost skipped my mind. Phishing messages. Teach them how to recognize phishing messages. In fact, if they get any message, you have to tell them to run it by you first of all, or by anyone else who is well versed in like all these things. Then they should also be very careful with links. They should not click, because it's especially with their generation and their WhatsApp messages. It's sometimes I get some kind of unsolicited WhatsApp messages from my mom, and I'm like, what the hell, mom, this is a scam. And she's like, oh, I knew that, and she deleted the message. So you've got to teach them about phishing links, about phishing messages, about OTPs, about how to be secure with their smartphones, since it contains a whole lot of data that can be gone in the twinkle of an eye, right? And all that. So I think that's that for this video. I will be signing out now. Thank you very much for coming, and I will see you in the next one.